to Sports Kabri, Arun Foot and Curious Harry. With me are Hiren and Arnava. Guys, for me, not the desired result. Hiren unfortunately has jinxed it after his predictions yesterday, but we will take it in our stride and move on. Chennai 2-1 in the end against Jamshedpur. It was the visitors who took the lead. Reis Tachikawa in the 22nd minute, and then Rafael Crivellaro from a mistake in the 52nd minute scored, and Rahim Ali bagged the game's final goal in the 59th minute. Nice turnaround. All in all, I think we've spoken the praises, we've sung the praises of Owen Coyle's side in the past and him as a coach. Anava, what did you make of their performance, Chennai?
Well, another great comeback. Good evening, everybody. I think the Owen Coyle factor worked, and I would have, I said it yesterday. That it's all possible. And if you look at the first half, you would have said Jamshedpur looked good, could have scored a second. So to me, it's very, very clear that there's a lot of movement here, there, everywhere, and in the end, Chennai come back, but both soft goals. It was not, it wasn't classy, but Rafa Crivellaro is Rafa Crivellaro on one side, and Rahim Ali showed to me very, very clearly that that he has something. If he wants to, he can do something. He showed that against Mohun Bagan as well the other night. So therefore, in the end, I thought Chennai were a little better than Jamshedpur, and in the end did deserve the win.
Yeah, Hiren, do you agree? You think Chennai deserved all 3 points? Of course, they got a bit of luck with the goals. I think especially Rahim Ali's, but it just stuck to him when he ran through.
First of all, hello to everyone. I would say draw would be the perfect result. Much more, you can say, balanced result, because I think first 50 minutes, Jamshedpur were the more dominant side in terms of the chance creation. जिस तरह के फर्स्ट हाफ में उन्होंने चांसेस बनाए, सेकंड हाफ में स्टार्ट में भी वो चांस बना. So overall, उस सेंस में I would say draw would be the perfect result. But I think हमने देखा है कि you had to, you can say, कि finish those chances. मोहम्मद सनन के वो चांस था जो पोस्ट पे हिट किया, एंड उससे पहले भी एक आध दो बार उनको, आई थिंक ओवरऑल फर्स्ट हाफ उन्होंने काफी बेहतरीन चांस बनाए थे, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसको फिनिश नहीं कर पाए. एंड सेकंड हाफ में हमने देखा है मोहन बगान के सामने भी चेन्नई एफसी जिस इंटेंसिटी के साथ आई थी, एंड आज भी जिस इंटेंसिटी के साथ आई, वो आई थिंक उन्होंने कहीं ना कहीं यहाँ पे मजबूर किया कि जो बैकलाइन थी यहाँ पे जमशेदपुर की एंड उनके गोलकीपर को टू मेक दोज एरर. आई थिंक वो जो प्रेसिंग कर रहे थे, और हाई लाइन भी आप देखिए सेकंड हाफ में वो काफी ज्यादा खेल रहे थे, एंड उसके चलते दोनों गोल आए यहाँ पे. एंड रहीम अली's goal was a, I would say, mistake जरूर यहाँ पे एलसीनियो की थी, but that was a brilliant finish from Rahim Ali and a crucial win for Chennaiyin FC. And finally हम यहाँ पे जो 6 टीमें बार बार बोल रहे थे, उसमें से एक टीम आउट ऑफ द रेस हो चुकी है from the playoffs. So Jamshedpur is officially out now, and that makes this race now interesting between the 5 teams. But overall, I would say Jamshedpur would be disappointed, because अगर वो मुंबई वाली गलती नहीं की होती तो वहां पे एक पॉइंट होता. एंड आई थिंक छोटी छोटी मिस्टेक उन्होंने इस सीजन की है, जिससे आई थिंक डेफिनेटली दे नीड टू लर्न फ्रॉम दिस मिस्टेक्स, एंड लेट होप सो दे कम अप विद अ बेटर प्रिपरेशन नेक्स्ट सीजन. बट आई थिंक अंडर खाली चवन वो, एंड उससे पहले भी आई थिंक हेक्टर कूपर के अंदर, सॉरी उनके पहले कोच का नाम क्या था, वो फिलिपाइंस था, वो कूपर, हाँ कूपर ही था ना,
स्कॉट कूपर.
तो आई थिंक काफी सारे उनके जैसे मोहम्मद सनन की फाइंडिंग है, आई थिंक निखिल बालरा, तो सारे यंगस्टर इस सीजन उन्होंने बेहतरीन परफॉर्मेंस दी है. सो आई थिंक दे विल बी डेफिनेटली डिसअपॉइंटेड. चांस था एटलीस्ट ड्रॉ करने का उनके पास चांस था, बट आई थिंक इट्स अ ग्रेट विन फॉर चेन्नई. एंड आई मस्ट से आई थिंक क्राउड भले आज कम था, बट आई थिंक लाउड इनफ था. एंड आई थिंक दे आर आल्सो, मतलब क्या बोलते हैं, एक्साइटेड कि चेन्नई एफसी बैक इनटू दैट, यू कैन से कि प्लेऑफ रेस. तो क्लियरली फैंस के चेहरे पर भी आज विजिबल हो रहा था, जिस तरह से वो चीयर अप कर रहे थे टीम को, एंड ओवरऑल एटमॉस्फेयर. सो इन दैट सेंस ओवरऑल इट्स अ वेरी गुड गेम, एंड फुटबॉलिंग वाइज भी मेरे को बढ़िया लगा. आई थिंक इट्स एंड टू एंड गेम इन टर्म्स ऑफ दैट, कि ऐसा नहीं था कि मतलब दोनों तरफ से चांसेस बन रहे थे, एंड ऐसा नहीं था कि बोरिंग गेम चल रहा था. आई थिंक ओवरऑल वेरी गुड गेम है, कि जहाँ पे आपको मतलब देखने को मिल रहा है कि हाँ चांसेस क्रिएट हो रहे हैं, जस्ट सिर्फ बैक पासेस नहीं हो रहे थे. So उसमें भी आई थिंक इट्स अ गुड गेम.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you guys think there's some pressure taken off of Rahim Ali's shoulders? Anwar, you think him not being in the national team sort of setup at the moment is helping him?
To me, Rahim Ali is one of those examples. I mean, I've seen him as a young kid. I remember I spoke to him last year, a little bit after they won the SAF Cup in the evening. You know, we had a longer conversation, and again, it's quite interesting what people are writing today. And I've always said this, that he is potentially one of our better strikers amongst the whole lot. If this guy gets the time, doesn't have to play centrally, can play wide, but he has that, you know, experience in the youth national teams. You saw the other day his technical finishing against Mohun Bagan, which of course went wide, but again, a lot of players would have just blasted it somewhere. And today it was tenacity to get him the goal. You know, he blocked once, blocked twice, blocked thrice, but you still get that goal. And from that perspective, you know, it shows you what it is. And at the moment, I think for some players, yes, I do agree, it makes sense for him to not to be part of the national team. Might be better for some players, you know. You know, and I think at the moment there are also some who are in the starting 11 who most probably, given the scenario, given the situation, given what is happening in and around the national team, I guess we'll speak about it a little later as well, that it might be better for you not to be there, you know, and that's something that you see. And you know, the commentators were mentioning it again and again. You could hear it. Owen Coyle is an older gentleman, but the way he's involved, you know, that is something. We saw that the other day from Ashley Westwood with the Afghans. This is something, sometimes these kind of teams need that. You know, they need that in-match coaching where you need to tell them, go here, go there, just go up, come, Irfan, come back, run back. And he's always in action, right? He's telling the ball boy, slow down, we are ahead. Don't throw the ball back quickly, right? And this is something, this energy that this gentleman has, it's just very positive. I was speaking yesterday a lot about the negativity about certain coaches. This gentleman and I call him a gentleman in Owen Coyle, will fight till the end. And if you look at it, you know, 3 weeks ago, they were dead. They were on 18 points. No one took them seriously. And now they're in with a realistic chance of finishing 6th. That's football.
And I want to take this well from Econ alone. I mean, we trolled Rahim Ali for his finishing, but for the national team, but frankly speaking, his technique-wise, he's better than many national team players, including Manveer and Liston. I think we saw that as well in the form of that chip. That was a good chip, I thought. I think to really just dink it right over the keeper and find the far corner, I thought it was really classy. And it was nice that he pulled that out as well. Hiren, Rahim Ali?
I think it's a great to see कि भाई भले ही पहले उसको क्रिटिसिज्म मिला है, वो उस बेसिस की परफॉर्मेंस के बेसिस पे मिला है. अब आई थिंक उसने गोल किया है तो वी नीड टू प्रेज आल्सो. ऐसा नहीं है कि भाई अभी गोल मार रहा है और फिर हम भी बोलेंगे कि ही इज नॉट रेडी फॉर द नेशनल लेवल. जो बंदा फॉर्म में है, अच्छा कर रहा है, वी नीड टू प्रेज देम. एंड ऐसे ही बंदों को हमें नेशनल टीम में चाहिए. बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली वहां पे सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया डिफरेंट है. वहां पे थोड़ा सा दूसरी स्टोरी चलती है. तो आई थिंक दैट इज द थिंग. एंड सर ने जैसे बोला कि
but Hiren, with him, he has been in and out. You know, I mean, he is actually someone that Steemach likes. I know I've had that conversation with Steemach a while back when he was with the under-23s and all. Steemach used to like it. You know, but the point with him is, with a lot of these players, is when are you going to take the next step? Right? To me, that is something which is very, very important for a player. And the last few weeks, he showed more maturity than he's shown in the last 2-3 years. That he has potential, no doubt. But that goal today was very important for his team. But the way he got it to there, right? So therefore, that is something which I think is always a question of how do you do it. And this is, again, it's the credit of Owen Coyle of getting this out of the players.
Exactly. I think I completely agree.
Rachit saying Mohun Bagan, BFC have to beat Mohun Bagan. I mean, it's in Chennai's hands now. There's no stopping them. Completely in Chennai's hands.
Yeah.
They win their next two
games. They are the only side who can reach to 34. And the next two game is against FC Goa and Northeast United. So that's the interesting games. So every other team just they have to win their remaining matches. Simple as that. And be patient to see that what Chennai do. I think there's maximum they can do. I think it's either East Bengal BFC or Northeast or Punjab FC, whoever is left. I think those four teams just need to be, you can say, rely on Chennaiyin FC's match result, simple as that. But I think अभी से give up कर देना कि भाई Chennaiyin FC 30 point हो गया है, so 30 point हो सकता है तो हमारा कुछ नहीं हो सकता. I think that should not be the mentality. I think they have to go for it because हमने देखा है कि Chennaiyin FC चाहे भले ही आज का मैच जीते हैं, but it didn't mean कि वो next 2 matches भी जीती रहेंगे because there is a ये सारी टीमों के साथ इनकंसिस्टेंसी एक कॉमन चीज रही एंड चेन्नई एफसी ने भी आज भले ही गोल मारे सारी चीजें हुई है बट अभी भी वो आप देखेंगे कि वो आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि उनके पास वो क्लियर कट अभी उस तरह का स्ट्रक्चर या फिर उस तरह की गेम प्ले आपको अभी भी देखने को मिल रहा है स्टिल दे रिलाई ऑन सम ऑफ द मैच सिचुएशन मोमेंट सो आई थिंक डेफिनेटली आपको होप रखना पड़ेगा एंड जैसे सर ने बोला कि 2 वीक पहले हर कोई बोल रहा था मैं भी बोल रहा था कि चेन्नई एफसी इज द फर्स्ट टीम आउट ऑफ द प्ले ऑफ रेस अभी उन्होंने कमबैक किया तो एवरी टीम नीड्स टू बिलीव टिल दी यू कैन से कि एब्सोल्युटली इट्स 100% श्योर कि फिनिश हो चुका है जैसे आप जमशेदपुर के लिए 100% श्योर है कि वो नहीं क्वालिफाई कर सकते तो ऐसा जब तक सिनेरियो नहीं आए तब तक यू हैव टू गो फॉर इट एंड आपका कभी भी मौका बन सकता है बिकॉज आई थिंक गोवा के अगेंस्ट भी इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू बी इजी मैच सो बाकी टीम्स के लिए यहाँ पे डेफिनेटली चेन्नई के रिजल्ट के ऊपर रिलाई करना है बट स्टिल दे हैव अ चांस आई वुड से
Yep. Now,
I have a question. I mean, Kumar saying that in regard to heats and the teams are not up to the level. I thought otherwise. I thought both the teams were having a go. It looked a little clumsy in the end, maybe, but I thought the intensity was good today, right? Especially in the first half, of course.
Very good.
And in the second half, it was just again small. It's not even yeah. Of course, the first goal is a mistake. The second one is just he fights his way through. And then Jamshedpur didn't have an answer. I felt Jamshedpur didn't have an answer. Of course, interesting is to see that Chimachukwu comes on, but again, he's not fully fit, so they risk him. Again, they know if we don't get at least a point, we're out of the playoffs. So to me, it's a difficult one. And but again, I would have thought that Chennaiyin has upped their game over the last few matches. I mean, now 3 out of 4 wins. That yes. I think says it all.
Yes.
They're doing well, guys. And for Jamshedpur, it's curtains. But how do you see their season as a whole?
I think जमशेदपुर के लिए काफी ज्यादा मेरे को लगता है कि चेंजेस भी उन्होंने काफी ज्यादा इस सीजन में किए थे एंड मैंने जैसे बोला कि सम ऑफ द यंगस्टर जैसे मोहम्मद समीम के हो गए निखिल बालरा हो गए आपके इमरान खान जो यहाँ पे नॉर्थ ईस्ट मैच आए थे उसकी परफॉर्मेंस भी आज भी देखिए इज बीन गुड इनफ फिर यू हैव फाइंड जरीबी मंजारो वेरी गुड आई थिंक फॉरेनर एल्सिनो आई थिंक ओवरऑल अगर आप थ्रू द सीजन देखेंगे तो इज बीन गुड फिर मोहम्मद रकीब का परफॉर्मेंस सम ऑफ द प्लेयर्स यू हैव फाइंड आई थिंक इन टर्म्स ऑफ द स्क्वाड वाइज एंड उसके अराउंड आप बिल्डअप कर सकते हो नेक्स्ट सीजन के लिए आप खालिद जमील ने भी आई थिंक जब से टेक ओवर किया है इज शोन अ गुड पॉजिटिव मेंटालिटी विद द टीम एंड परफॉर्मेंस वाइज भी एंड आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि मतलब ऐसा वो फुटबॉल खिला रहे हैं आई थिंक ही हैज बीन you can see coming up with a very good tactics also and exciting football so overall lots of positive and definitely they would have been a disappointment मैंने जिस बोला कि आपने वो अगर एरर नहीं किया होता तो वहां पे एक पॉइंट मिलता मुंबई सिटी के सामने some of the matches here and there आपने क्लोज मार्जिन से लूज किए हैं so I think those are the things जो उनके लिए यहाँ पे लर्निंग्स वो हो सकता है कि ये नेक्स्ट सीजन मिस्टेक नहीं करनी बट आई थिंक दे कैन बिल्ड अप फ्रॉम हियर आई थिंक ऐसा नहीं है कि वो कंप्लीटली यहाँ पे खत्म हो गया नेक्स्ट सीजन सब कुछ नया स्टार्ट करना है दे हैव सम स्टेपिंग स्टोन एंड उसके ऊपर आप अगर थोड़े से बेहतरीन एक आध दो और फॉरेनर बेहतरीन ला सकते हो एंड देन यू हैव सम ऑफ द 2-3 crucial Indian players then I think they can be very good team next season also so इस सीजन भी अगर आप राहुल एक चीज आप नोटिस करोगे कि जमशेदपुर ने जैसे हैदराबाद के एफसी के बारे में भी बात करते हैं कि जमशेदपुर ने कभी भी ऐसा नहीं है कि वन साइडेड मैच आ रहे हैं तो एक भी आ रहे हैं दे ऑलवेज इन द गेम हमने देखा था वो मोहन बगान वाला गेम भी फर्स्ट हाफ में अब तो इस सीजन में कि जहाँ पे उन्होंने बेहतरीन फाइट पुट अप की थी तो आई थिंक दे ऑलवेज यू कैन से कि पुट अप विद दैट फाइट सो ऐसा नहीं है कि कंप्लीटली मतलब कि जो बाकी टीमों का लेवल है उससे मैचअप ही नहीं कर पा रहे तो आई थिंक सम ऑफ द फ्यू प्लेयर्स in and out and they will again be ready for the competition.
I know how do they see their season? Same question. And how do they come back next year?
I think it's a for me it's it's a mixed bag for Jamshedpur. And I thought they were doing well under Scott Cooper, but they were not getting results. And they seemed to get the results under Khalid, but it looked like towards the end they were running out of steam. It was good to see that they signed Javi Severio, who didn't seem to work at East Bengal. That was a good addition. As Hiren has mentioned, some interesting young players, but you had in phases Manzoro was firing. I mean, today he had the chance in the 93rd, 94th minute to put in another free kick, and then it goes totally wayward. I guess they didn't have the squad depth to compete in that top 6 race in the end. I think that is what let them down. And I mean, Rachit is asking if they should have stuck with Scott Cooper. I would have said yes. I think Scott Cooper would have gotten similar results, if not better results, towards the end, I guess. But that's just a speculation, because I like the way Scott Cooper set his team up. And again, they were unlucky. Hiren has mentioned that game against Mohun Bagan, which they didn't need to lose. Some other games, they were unlucky against East Bengal in the opener as well. But there are other games as well. So therefore, overall, TK. But I think they need to bring in a little bit more of experience and more of quality when it comes to Indian players. And that's the question, if they are going to really, I mean, the Tatars are behind this club, but are Tatars are going to spend, or are they not going to do it? That will be interesting to see what happens.
Again, a lot of praise for Jamshedpur. Recon alone also saying, there's been a side that have competed, they've done well. But another question is with regard to Chennai, Irfan Yadwad and Rahim Ali, how are they going to share game time? What do you think is Irfan Yadwad's future?
To me, Rahim Ali comes in first because, again, he has a bit more experience at the highest level. Irfan, for me, Irfan Yadwad, I remember I saw him last season for Bangalore United. Raw talent, really talented, and he's an out-and-out number 9. You saw his movements, his twists and turns. I think he needs a little bit more time. And interesting to see is also that Owen Coyle has slowly been building him up. He's not put him into the water and just try and swim and try and survive. No, he's worked on him. He's given him time, and I thought, again, they were trying to sign an experienced striker in the winter. If they'd signed an experienced striker, most probably would have gone on loan somewhere else. But they've kept him. They stuck with him, and he's given them a crucial goal the other night against Mohun Bagan. Today he gave them that width, that fighting spirit towards the end, and therefore who knows, maybe there are spaces for both of them. I mean, they have a number of Indian players who've stepped up in the last week. Vinci Barreto is another one, who's another a different incarnation, let's say, of a Liston Colasso, a typical Goan winger, a Romeo Fernandez, all these guys, over the years that we've had. So Chennai have some very interesting players.
राहुल, और एक चीज और भी है जो सबने मेंशन किया ना, निंथो मिते का परफॉर्मेंस देख लीजिए, दिस सीजन हैज बीन गुड. फिर विंसी बरेटो, फारूक चौधरी ने आई थिंक इस सीजन डिसअपॉइंट किया है, टू बी ऑनेस्ट. आई थिंक जितना उससे मतलब एक्सपेक्टेशन थी उस हिसाब से नहीं कर पाए. जितेश्वरन आयुष ने स्टार्टिंग में अच्छा किया था, बट ओवरऑल आई थिंक दे नीड्स टू आल्सो स्टेप अप. फॉरेनर्स में आई थिंक कहीं ना कहीं मेरे को लगता है कि जो चेन्नई एफसी ने स्ट्रगल ज्यादा किया है, फॉरेनर्स में 2-3 फॉरेनर्स में वो मार खा गए. तो जो बटेचो को बोला है, आई थिंक दे डिडंट वर्क आउट. फिर रेन एडवर्ड्स की साइनिंग बेहतरीन साइनिंग है फॉर मी. आई थिंक दैट्स द बेस्ट साइनिंग फॉर चेन्नई एफसी. अगर आप डिफेंस वाइज भी उसकी परफॉर्मेंस देखेंगे तो वन ऑफ द बेस्ट है इस सीजन आईएसएल में. देन राफेल क्रिवलारो, तो मतलब आई थिंक इज द आईएसएल जिस तरह से वो खेल रहे थे उसमें फिर जॉर्डन मरे ने टू बी ऑनेस्ट मेरे को डिसरिस्पेक्ट किया है इस सीजन. आई थिंक जो एक्सपेक्टेशन उनसे रखी गई थी, ओनली 5 गोल फ्रॉम योर मेन स्ट्राइकर, इस डिडंट, यू कैन से कि जॉर्डन मरे एंड कॉर्नर सिल्ड, ये दो ऐसे प्लेयर है कि कॉर्नर सिल्ड तो फिर भी आई वुड से कि थोड़ा सा चलो मैं उसको 19-20 दूंगा, बट आई थिंक जॉर्डन मरे से मैं ज्यादा रिस्पेक्ट हूँ, क्योंकि अगर आपको एक वो फॉरेन स्ट्राइकर ऑन गोल्स नहीं देता, वो जो 10-12 गोल आप एक्सपेक्ट करते हो सीजन में, तो आपके लिए डिफिकल्ट होता ही होता है. एंड आई थिंक रहीम अली एंड इरफान यादव दोनों साथ में भी खेल सकते हैं, बिकॉज आई थिंक रहीम अली को ज्यादातर यहाँ पे लेफ्ट में ही यूज किया जाता है. आउट एंड आउट नंबर 9 उसको काफी कम यहाँ पे आईएसएल में आप देखिए कोहली ने अभी सीजन यूज किया है. मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम ही इज बीन यूज्ड एज ए, यू कैन से कि वाइड प्लेयर. एंड इरफान यादव इज, जैसे सर ने बोला कि आउट एंड आउट नंबर 9. So they both can exist, but I think next season किस तरह से उनको प्लान करते हैं सीजन का, I think उसके ऊपर ज्यादा डिपेंड रहेंगे. So some of the Indian players are positive for Chennai FC, and some of them foreigners and some of the Indians are disappointed also. आज देखिए विंसी बरोटो ने कितने ज्यादा स्प्रिंट मारे, सबसे ज्यादा स्प्रिंट उन्होंने मारे, एंड जो दो फर्स्ट हाफ में उन्होंने क्रॉस स्पीड डाले थे, आई थिंक एक फर्स्ट हाफ और एक सेकंड हाफ में था, मेरे को एग्जैक्टली याद नहीं, बट दे वर एब्सोल्युटली ब्रिलियंट. जिस तरह से उन्होंने वहां पे रन बनाया, स्प्रिंट लगाया, एंड देन सीधा ही उन्होंने जिस तरह से क्रॉसेस डाले, वो तो आपके बॉक्स के अंदर चेन्नई एफसी के कोई ओनली स्ट्राइकर के अलावा कोई प्लेयर पहुंच नहीं पाया, अदरवाइज दोस हैव बीन अ वेरी वेरी क्लोज चांसेस. सो विंसी बरेटो ने इंप्रेस किया है, आई थिंक जब जब भी उसको मौका मिला, इज बीन गुड.
I think they've got some positive signs. Like Hiren said, I think the foreigners have been the issue, especially those two strikers, John Murray and Connor Shields. It's not quite worked out. I know as far as the Indians are concerned, are you happy with their contingent for the coming season as well?
Hiren has mentioned Farooq Chaudhary. I think as someone who has played national team, experience. Of course, he's had serious injuries as well. I think he can do more. The interesting part is that if we had spoken about Chennai, let's say 3-4 weeks back, we would have said overall the team is not good enough. So the assessment also changes with results. Now you suddenly we're talking about Rahim Ali, we're talking about Vinci, we're talking about Irfan, Ryan Edwards as well. Ryan Edwards earlier looked like he's having his problems at the back with his, with Sirkovic and the others. Debjit was not having his best of seasons. So therefore, at the moment, again, we have not spoken about Debjit, right? Debjit is someone, he not only won the game against Mohun Bagan, he had some good saves today in there as well. So therefore, to me, it at the moment doesn't. It's difficult now to judge and see where they go. But to me, it's very likely, that if we look at Chennaiyin FC, and the assessment changes again. I would like to talk maybe about them at the end of the month. Let's see how far they go, because Owen Coyle knows how to play in these ISL playoffs as well.
Hiren, how far are they going to go?
I think at the moment with this team, I'm seeing. देखिए मोमेंटम जब बन जाता है तब इट्स अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट, बट स्टिल आई फील मैं थोड़ा सा भी उसको उतना ज्यादा हाइप अप नहीं करूंगा कि प्लेऑफ में भी वो मतलब आगे उतना बढ़ जाएंगे. आई स्टिल फील कि दे कैन रीच टू प्लेऑफ, बट आई एम नॉट यू कैन से कि गोइंग मच फॉरवर्ड इन प्लेऑफ. सो लेट्स सी अगर प्लेयर जैसे आज प्लेयरों ने स्टेप अप किया, पिछले 2-3 मैचों से करते आ रहे हैं, देन अगर आई थिंक एक वो जैसे मैंने बोला कि मोमेंटम बन जाता है, देन प्लेयरों में कॉन्फिडेंस भी आ जाता है कि जो आउट ऑफ फॉर्म प्लेयर है वो भी मे बी अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस दिखाने लगे. सो इट्स ऑल अबाउट द मोमेंटम, कॉन्फिडेंस एंड द टीम्स यू कैन सी एटमॉस्फेयर एंड हाउ द रिजल्ट आर कमिंग ऑन, एंड थोड़ा सा लक भी आपको जरूरत होता है. सो ये सारी चीजें अगर मिल जाती है, देन तो आप अब जैसे कोयल ने करके भी दिखाया है इससे पहले भी कि भाई वो जब आए थे तब लास्ट में से लेके टीम को फाइनल तक लेके गए थे इस बार. So I think interesting one, but I अभी मैं ऐसा नहीं बोलूंगा कि they will reach semi-final, final of ISL. I think I still feel कि they will qualify for playoff. That's my least expectation at the moment.
Okay, fair enough. I know Kumar is asking about the I-League. Quickly, let's just provide an
1 point away, Mohammedan.
Yeah, but today's match between Niroka and Srinidhi is just shameful. That you have a late kickoff, no backup generator there. That's why you have to break up, cancel, stop the match at halftime. We've got that weird handball from that Niroka player. So therefore, a lot of questions around this game. But normally, for Srinidhi, they've had so many chances and they've thrown away so many points in the recent weeks. That 2-2 draw against Churchill Brothers, also drawing 1-1 against Niroka today. And Mohammedan Sporting has been up there. I don't know since which match day. They've been up there since I think relatively early on in the season. So therefore,
but मेरे को सर ओवरऑल आई लीग की मतलब चाहे भले ही मतलब मोहम्मदान क्वालिफाई कर जाए, एवरीथिंग इज गुड, सारी चीज है, कुछ प्लेयर अच्छा कर रहे हैं, बट ओवरऑल मेरे को ये क्वेश्चनेबल तो लगता ही है. जब भी मैं मैच देखता हूँ आई लीग का, देयर आर सम ऑफ द इंसिडेंट जो मतलब यू डिडंट एक्सपेक्ट इन एट दिस लेवल, जो यहाँ पे आपको मैचेस में देखने को मिलते हैं. सो आई वुड से मेरे को उतना ज्यादा वो प्रोफेशनल नहीं लगता है जितना मतलब आई वुड से आईएसएल या फिर होना चाहिए आपका सेकंड डिवीजन, टू बी ऑनेस्ट।
I
तो
mean,
कहीं
I
ना
mean,
कहीं
to
थोड़ा सा
me,
मेरे को वो ज्यादा
no,
लगता है।
Hiren, your problem is we were talking about standards of the national team a few days back, against Afghanistan. So the standard of the national team, standard of ISL, standard of I League, and then let's talk about the rest. That is the problem. I'm not a good footballer, but if I have my physical fitness at my age, I can play in India and earn money in India. That is the standard of Indian football today. That is a real problem, right? So it's not, again, it might look stupid, it might look clumsy. No, they don't. Some of them can't play better. That is the real problem. There are players, take away the ISL. But yeah, there are some players in the ISL who don't belong in the ISL. There are a lot of players who don't belong into the I League. Sorry to say that. The standard is down. And then people want I League players to go into the national team. Then you know why Rinzwala is scoring so many goals in that league, right? You know,
मैं मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि overall
some of the foreigners who've not played well wherever they've been before, right? And they look like superstars in this league. Sorry, Hiren.
नहीं मेरा भी वही पॉइंट है कि ओवरऑल जो मतलब एक आपको कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस एक लीग से फील होनी चाहिए, वो नहीं होती इसमें। काफी ज्यादा मेरे को थोड़ा सा एमर्चर लीग टाइप वो मतलब अभी बन चुका है, ऐसा लगता है। जो एक आपको मतलब अब एक सेटअप देखते हो, टीम की आइडेंटिटी देखते हो, ऐसा कुछ नहीं देखने को मिलता।
No, I have a different problem. You know, my problem is, let's take the example of Neroka and Trao. It is very disappointing to see these two clubs go down because they've fought hard to get into the I League, right? Neroka, I give a little credit. They had certain potential. They had a little bit of money behind them. Trao, little less. Trao is a community club. All of that, I understand that. But this season, the way they've come in and they've tried to just survive in the league, it's not good for the I League. At least for me, you know, it's not good for the I League. And in the end, if you know, to me is that's a problem. We need to ensure. You know, we've had the scandal with Neroka players playing those local tournaments in Bengal and getting paid this, that, everything. It's very tough. And the point is, again, we have the problem of the AFF unwilling to take tough calls, tough decisions. You know, you have to then tell clubs, you know what, guys, sorry, maybe better you don't play the I League. You know, we need to take those tough calls if we like it or not. And you know, so therefore that's a point. And Shaggy, I agree. I mean, if Sporting Club Bangalore or Bangalore United come in, or even Dempo, you know, one of those three, two of those three teams, they will surely add quality to the league. That is given. That for me, that's a given. But for me, again, I have my friends running Bangalore United, so I wish them all the best. But again, they're now a little bit under pressure after having been the leaders of the league. But we need to also look at certain things and not allow anyone to come in just for the sake of making up numbers. It just doesn't make sense. And then, you know, foreigners coming in, going out. There are multiple teams who've done that this year again.
Exactly.
You know, I think you need to, at some stage, make restrictions and say, listen, you can sign 6, you can do max 9, you know. Maybe they'll do 1 or 2 players you can change because of injuries, but not, you know, some of the clubs have changed all their 6 foreigners.
Exactly. पता ही नहीं चलता कौन सी टीम में कौन सा फॉरेनर खेलता है। मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ ना कि टोटली वो एमर्चर लगता है, वो प्रोफेशनल जो आप लीग से एसोसिएट कब ट्रांसफर हो जाता है, कब क्या होता है। नथिंग इज इन दैट सेंस वो प्रोफेशनलिज्म। एंड जो भी आज भी प्रॉब्लम हुआ, ये सारे इश्यू, मैं ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा कि ऐसा इश्यू नहीं होते हैं कभी कभी, बट एक जो आप लीग से एक्सपेक्ट करते हो कि अगर आपका सेकंड डिवीजन है तो उसमें ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए एटलीस्ट।
Totally agree. And my concern is there are 5-6 teams out of 13 who are not actually in the situation to play in the I League, if I'm brutally honest. You know, and that is my concern, that there are too many teams in this division who do not belong in this division. You know, the AFF needs to be tougher on that. It's the same question in regard to the situation with Hyderabad in the ISL. You know, it's great to see those kids play, but from a football and from a commercial, from a management perspective, Hyderabad at the moment playing in the ISL makes no sense. They don't add value to the league. And it's embarrassing with some of the stuff, you know, people not being paid for quite a while. unclear of what happens. Or now the Punjab situation, right? Punjab FC, because of a fire at the Nehru Stadium, they don't have a fire clearance for the stadium. I mean, the authorities are not giving them a fire clearance. So therefore, for me, very clear is very, these are all things. These are realities. I know fans will say, "Oh, it's the blame on the club." No, the club can't do anything. It's not their stadium. They are guests in that stadium. But these are realities of Indian football, and some of these realities are harsh, but nobody wants to take tough calls. Tough calls, even on so-called big clubs. That what is in the best interest of Indian football.
I have a question for you from Pooja. Thoughts on Mohammedan underperforming? I mean, with the huge fan base.
See, Mohammedan Sporting it's like like this, the fifth wheel in a car, so to say, right? Treatment when you compare them to East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, right? And that's been a problem with them for, since the NFL actually started, right? I mean, they have not been I-League regulars. Mohammedan Sporting, whenever they've come into NFL or I-League, came up and directly went down again. They've only in the last few years they've stuck in the league and have become a biggie over the last 2-3 years. And big credit for that goes to Dipendu Biswas, former India striker who's there, and other people at the club, and they've come through. And Pujan, you were right. I still think on the other side, Srinidhi threw away the opportunity to win this league. I think Srinidhi has had too many of those matches where the way they were leading and then suddenly there's a weird draw, or they've even lost matches. So Srinidhi at least has 7, 8, maybe even 10 points. They could have had more on the board. Or Mohammedan were lucky, especially let's say the last game against that one against Interkashi, where Interkashi needs to win the game. But that's football, and Mohammedan Sporting adds another factor. It will be interesting to see, of course, how the stadium topic will be handled with the 3 Calcutta Giants playing, because the Salt Lake Stadium will be, I don't know if Salt Lake Stadium can host all 3 of those, or if someone's going to move for certain matches to Kishore Bharati or something of the sorts. So for me, it's a big team. But I also if I look at the Srinidhi group, if I look at the Gokulam Kerala as a group, those are financially strong, and they would add something to this league, which I think the ISL could do with, right? I mean, Srinidhi, if you see even the stadium, which of course is not in Hyderabad but little outside of town, but you saw they started with one stand, now they've built another stand, now they're building stuff around the stadium, and all those things, and the infrastructure part, and the academy, they've got a tie up with Sporting Lisbon and Benfica Lisboa, and all those kind of stuff. So they've done a lot of things right. Gokulam this season looked to me a little desperate after having failed. Roshan, you're right. It's a question. Bunker Hill, of course, is another topic with their investor. And therefore, there are a lot of questions to be answered, and the question is, who is the regulator in Indian club football? Who's going to look at it? Roshan, exactly. Licensing criteria poor. I think the licensing has not been really fulfilled since COVID came in. I remember I did a couple of licensings at Round Glass, and they were quite tough. Those guys who were running, Sunando, the people under him, huge compliment. I know a lot of people hated the club licensing or the academy accreditation process, but those were basic stuff. And now most of it has been watered down. So therefore, again, certain teams this season would have not played I-League in the past. Either they would have had to fulfill criteria, which they wouldn't be able to. And no one is asking the question is, how much money do the clubs actually have? I think that's the most important question that, that people need to, open the books, or, there's a saying in European football, you have to drop your pants and show what you have, right? And that is something, every penny that you have in your pocket. And that's going to be the big challenge, I think, for Indian club football going forward, because everybody, again, we've spoken about it multiple times, everybody's losing money.
Yep. Coming back to the ISL, guys. What game? What relevance does this game hold? Goa versus Hyderabad Hirain. Of course, Goa mathematically can still finish top of the league if Mumbai will lose their next two and they win the remaining three that they've got. But realistically, what is the relevance of this match?
I think the one relevant is FC Goa's second half of the season's performance. I think they needed that momentum to go into the playoff, and this three match can give you them with little bit, you can say, less pressure. Player will be, you can say, play according to the, you can say, that confidence ki there is not much pressure, and I think उसके साथ आपके player अगर form में आते हैं because their front line needs to fire again. एंड बैक लाइन में भी संदेश सिंगार ना होने के बाद आप देखिए कि किस तरह से वहां पे भी काफी ज्यादा इश्यू आया है. सो आई थिंक Manolo Marcus definitely look this three match as a, you can say, settle down on those aspects, and also आप देखिए कि सील्ड रेस भले ही ना जीते हो लेकिन दे विल आल्सो गो फॉर दैट सेकंड पोजीशन बिकॉज इफ मुंबई सिटी वन बोथ अगेंस्ट ओडिशा एंड मोहन बगान then I think FC Goa maybe out of 3-2 wins they can have that chance also. So I think if you finish on second, that would be also great. So still there is a something fight for them. I would not say it's a completely irrelevant match. Irrelevant match. And सामने आई थिंक नॉर्थ ईस्ट यूनाइटेड है ना, उनके सामने कौन है? एफसी गोवा, हैदराबाद एफसी. हैदराबाद एफसी तो पता ही है हमको. आई थिंक दे विल डेफिनेटली play that exciting football. Those chances will be created, but due to the inexperience of the youngster, I think maybe थोड़ा सा वो यहाँ पे पीछे रह गया. बट आई थिंक गेम तो अच्छा होगा. आई एम नॉट एक्सपेक्टिंग कि भाई कोई रिलेवेंस नहीं है इस सेस में कि मतलब एकदम से दोनों तरफ से एफर्ट नहीं दिखेगा. एफर्ट विल बी देयर एंड आई थिंक एफसी गोवा के लिए स्टिल देयर इज a something at least to fight for.
Arnav, do they have a good chance of finishing second, Goa?
I mean, that is what for me is this game is about. If they want to avoid the first round of the playoffs and directly be seeded, they need to win this and then put pressure on Mohun Bagan and Odisha. I mean, it's for me. I think that's the main thing. I think Mohun Bagan are under pressure, and again in regard to the title race. But on the other side, they're also under pressure from Odisha already, and maybe from Goa as well. If Goa win tomorrow, finishing second, so that makes it also very, very interesting. And so therefore, for me, everything to play for, and for Goa, and also after yesterday's Kerala Blasters, get yourself ready for the playoffs. Because Kerala Blasters to me looked in shambles. I mean, at the moment, Kerala Blasters look like one of the weakest, if not the weakest team in the league, right? And then going into the playoffs, you have to play away. Difficult. It's a one-off. It's a cup tie sort of situation. But Goa, Hiren has said it, has not played well in the second half. They're not settled. Hyderabad is for a lot of players a very interesting game because they have, of course, there are former players of Hyderabad FC. The coach is a former Hyderabad FC coach, was very successful, won with them. So therefore, for me, I think it's but there is something. Yeah, but Sanskar, they don't win anything, but it gives you a bye. You have to play one match less in the playoffs. So that one match less in the playoffs at this stage of the season with so many matches played, I think it makes sense. To me, it makes sense to try and become second. So therefore, I'm sure Manolo Marcus will try and get something against his former team. And just to answer the question that Arnab asked regarding changing that rule, it's not a question of the league. It's a general IFAB rule, where if you have a certain number of players, homegrown. If you have a homegrown rule, you have to adhere by that. And if you don't do it, then it's a fault of yours. And it's no fault of the fourth official or anybody else. It's all the fault of Jamshedpur FC, be it the coaching staff or be it the management, whoever has read the rule book. And they've also said that themselves, right, in a release that it was.
उन्होंने भी माफी मांग ली है.
So that's very clear. Just to clarify that.
Who wins tomorrow, guys? Who wins tomorrow?
FC Goa. 2-1 victory for FC Goa.
Okay, 2-1. Okay, Hiren say
2-1 or 2-0. 2-1 or 2-0. I would say 2-1 or 2-0.
Or you not see Hyderabad making a game of this?
आई थिंक मेरे को मतलब वही कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं कि चांस क्रिएट करेंगे हैदराबाद, बट वो फिनिश करेंगे कि नहीं करेंगे. आई थिंक चुंगा हमारे एंड एवरी दोस यंगस्टर आर एक्साइटिंग प्लेयर्स. दे विल यू कैन से रीच इनटू द पोजीशन कि जहां से चांस बनेगा, बट द फिनिशिंग वुड बी द, जैसे आज मोहम्मद सनन के, अब देखिए वो बार बार उस पोजीशन पे जा रहा था, शॉट ले रहा था, सब कुछ कर रहा था, but still not going into the box, or you can say net. So that's same scenario with the Hyderabad youngster also. So इसीलिए मैंने बोला ना कि एक गोल मैंने चलो दे दिया, otherwise it will be a 2-0.
Yep. Manor?
I think it'll be a 2-0 or 3-0 for Goa.
Okay.
I think it should be, the boys will try and prove something to Manolo, but I think that Goa has enough class in them, in Martinez and Sadui and Borja Herrera and some of the Indian boys, that they will take care of this job.
Yeah.
And they will have seen how Mumbai did their job against Hyderabad. So they, Manolo, and nobody knows this team better than Manolo, besides of course the current coaching staff. So Manolo knows what to do. And I think for Goa, this is the one, this is redemption. And yeah, after all that's happened in the last few weeks, or rather not happened for them.
I think it's, I completely agree with you guys. Goa most likely to win. Of course, they need the win as well to push for that second spot. And if they do get it, they avoid that extra playoff game, which is always good. So yeah, guys, FC Goa versus.
But that's something, right? That's the Sanskar saying, bro, but playing less games can also hurt, because who will win the playoff had to winning one and second place will play after that. One side
gather your momentum in the league,
but momentum at this stage I think doesn't count. I think the rest counts more than momentum. To me, that is something you've heard a lot of coaches saying, oh, it's hot, it's humid, it's this, it's that, it's that. And, they take the 3 to 4 day extra rest. They'll take it. So that's something for me. That is that.
Yeah.
And
I know you can gather your momentum by winning league games. You're still going in with a good run. That's there as well.
And Pujan on FC Goa, totally agree. That's a very valid point, Pujan. I think FC Goa has been, a treat to watch, very often in the way they've played. So therefore, to me, they've done really, really well. So yeah, that's the realities of things, and how things stand.
Yeah, and we're reaching that stage of the season where, like Shai is saying, coaches who are good with knockouts have an advantage. Yeah, absolutely. We're getting into that part of the campaign where you're getting up for the playoffs, and then you've got the semifinals.
That's
exciting.
That's why I said Owen Coyle going in with Chennaiyin, and think about it. For example, if let's say Goa finished third and Manolo's Goa are not really firing at the moment, that's an interesting one, right? Or think about it, they finish fourth, and you suddenly have Goa versus Kerala. Right, and both of them are not firing. So one of those two will get into the same fight. So there's some very still some interesting permutations, combinations still possible. So therefore, Chetan, yes, BFC is still in the race, and that's why I'm still going to say let's not call it. It's just too early to call what's going to happen in regard to this race of top 6. I mean, again, we lost one team. We're down to
5.
To 5. Sorry, I just had to count 5.
5.
Yeah, that's and then tomorrow nothing happens, but then the weekend will be very interesting. I think by the weekend we'll be a little clearer where the journey is going to go.
Absolutely, guys. Please like and share the videos. Everyone in the
Last
chat.
में वो सर थोड़ा सा वो डिस्कस कर लेते हैं regarding the today's meeting, because I think that this is the last time I am discussing with this. I will more focus on now because this team coach I think don't deserve you can say that attention over that thing. So for me तो I think it's over. सर आप बताइए, मतलब मेरे को सर एक समझ में बात नहीं आई कि what is the, जैसे आपने भी ट्विटर पे लिखा, मेरा भी सेम फीलिंग था कि what is the point of this meeting. जो उसने बोला कि भाई मैंने 1 साल पहले आपको बताया था कि भाई मैं आपको राउंड 3 में लेके जाऊंगा एंड दैट नेक्स्ट मैच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, उसके बाद हम बात करेंगे. तो ये मतलब सेंस क्या बना था इस मीटिंग का? मेरे को तो कुछ, और आपके एक्सको मेंबर बोल रहे कि हाँ भाई तुम नेक्स्ट 2 मैचेस के ऊपर फोकस करो. तो व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ दिस मीटिंग? किस चीज के लिए बुलाई गई थी ये? तो
The first thing is Shaggy says election times politicians are busy. Mr. Harris lost his mother, so I think just to clarify that he had personal reasons of not attending the meeting. With I'm Vijayan, I don't know. So Kalyan Chaube is not was never part of the meeting, which I find also very peculiar. Why the president is not part of the meeting, or at least invited to these meetings? I think the president should be part of these conversations. Especially being an ex-footballer, I think Kalyan needs to be part of these conversations, I feel. But how can you hold the meeting without Harris, who is vice president, so the senior most member in the committee? I am Vijayan, the head of the technical committee, as well as Climax Lawrence as a former India captain. Right? So you have Anil Kumar, you've got Menla left, and Satya. No disrespect to these three guys, but do you have the authority to speak in the name of the AFF with the coach? We know what happened with the last secretary and the contract supposedly, right? So therefore, to me, I did a video this morning about that as well. So if you want to watch it, to me the story isn't over. To me, the story is not over. This will continue. As I've said, there are people in the background who are working on changes, because this has gone to the ears of very influential people in India. It's not just in politics, but in the industry as well, who have some sort of influence and here and there. So let's see what happens. So for me, the story is far from over.
But I don't understand regarding this contract situation till now. What is the exact situation? Is there a clause कि उसको without paying those जो यहाँ पे AF officials unofficially बोल रहे हैं कि we need to pay those 6-8, and दूसरी साइड बोल रहे हैं कि इतना कोई पे करने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप terminate कर सकते हो. What is the actual situation?
I would love to see the contract. I want love to see the contract. I've not seen the contract, therefore I can't say. Very simple. I think nobody can say that as long as they don't see the current contract which Igor Stimac has signed and the AFF has signed. And that is the question. I am not very clear. To me, the question is, again, in the past, the AFF has fired Bob Houghton on flimsical reasons. Supposedly he made a racial comment to a referee in a friendly, which of course, someone who's worked 40 years around the world suddenly makes a racial comment against an Indian. Ridiculousness has its height. To me, the other point was how Nikolai Adam was released in early 2017, despite doing a very, very good job with the under-17 World Cup squad. So therefore, if the AFF has means and ways of getting rid of the coach, I still don't understand why they're not doing. I agree, Pujan, with you, and I also read you, Roshan. To me, it's a very simple thing. You sit down with the coach and say, listen, whatever your contract is, whatever you have, let's come to a solution. It's not working. Thank you very much for what you've done for us, but now it's time to leave. Khatam. Very simple. You have to find a solution. And in the worst case, if I was in the position of anyone in the AFF leadership, I would go to the government, or I would go to Reliance or to others and say, guys, can you help us financially to pay off the coach? If that's the matter, I would find solutions. But this is what we've seen. The point to me is that at the moment nobody wants to take a call. We've seen that in all the matters that are happening in and around the AFF. They rarely take a call.
Exactly.
Now Satya has tried to bring some stability and structure, and is trying to hold tournaments and leagues and this and that and everything, which is not easy, I think, for someone like him coming in. He's done a great work in Karnataka, but he's now trying to keep that system running. I think that's the challenge. And this whole Stimac thing is something which, because I hate this committee business, which these people have installed in the AFF. I have a committee for this, I have a committee for this. There are too many people involved. And my question is, sorry, even ex-players, do they understand what they're deciding on? If my technical committee contained people who have shown in the recent past of what they can do or not, I'm fine with that. But my point is, I don't need a technical committee. I need a national team department who takes a call on this. I need people who are paid staff of the AFF to take a call on this. I don't need a committee for this, right? That is, we have structurally gone back into the 90s and 80s with the AFF in the last few years. That is the biggest problem, in my opinion. That we have, again, accountability is a different question, but here the question is, anybody who has seen India's result and who doesn't follow even Indian football, it doesn't matter. Nobody needs to follow Indian football. But to me, it's very, very clear. If you followed Indian football in the recent past and you see our results, then people will ask, wow, wasn't India in the top 100? Why are you 121 now? Your results in the last few months were quite bad. Huh? You lost against Afghanistan. Bas, khatam. Nobody will ask any more questions. Right? And other teams have fired 2 coaches by now. So that's the... To me, it makes no sense what the AFF has been doing for a while. And this is not just the new AFF, but the old, with the Steamach matter, even the old AFF. It was very, very dodgy to me that how this guy has been India coach now for 5 years. And a lot of people should be answering this. But nobody will answer this. Shaggy, who would have asked FSDL? The AFF. They don't even talk to FSDL. How will they ask FSDL to help them? Exactly, Pujan. I think that's the, we are pushing the goalpost, right? And my concern is, God forbid, if we qualify for the 3rd round, his contract gets extended. What do we do then?
नहीं होगा पर सर, नहीं होगा, उसका टेंशन मत लो, नहीं होगा, क्वालिफाई नहीं हो रहा तो कहाँ से होगा?
Yeah, Dhiren, you want to add?
नहीं, खत्म, मेरे लिए तो खत्म ही है.
Dhiren's a very blank
I lost
response.
totally hopes. कल वैसे है सुप्रीम कोर्ट का, देखते हैं, वहाँ पे भी उम्मीद मेरे को ज्यादा है नहीं. I think they might be given another day.
Tomorrow they will postpone it. They will hearing will be done, I don't know, next year or something.
Yeah.
वही बस वैसे ही, जैसे नॉर्मल खत्म है मेरे लिए.
Yeah, I think that's the, at least for now, good. It's good ISL football going on. Let's keep the national team aside just a little for a couple of weeks. Enjoy this ISL football. Enjoy the playoffs, guys. It's getting fun. It's just fun. At least we're enjoying our football.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy our football. So yeah.
What's something that gives you at least entertainment rather than seeing these picks?
Yeah. Let's not get into this quality discussion of how good or how bad the ISL is. Just enjoy the football. The football is fun. There's a lot of excitement. We can talk about the quality, in a few weeks once the league is over. Very simple.
Yeah. Exactly. Fair enough. But yeah, again, want to thank everyone for joining us in the chat today. Hiren and Anama, like always, please like and share our videos, guys. Subscribe to all the channels, Sports Kabi, Curious Harry, and Arun Foot. We'll be back. Good night.
Good night,
everyone.